Hello there, my name's Ms.RedNebula and welcome to the last game dev diary for Arachnodelic. I pretty much spent all of the time between the last dev diary and August 20th finishing the game, so everything that you see in this video is, well, everything that I did to finish the game. Okay, so first off, I went and found some music that I thought would be appropriate for a nice fast-paced game, a little arcadey. I did look at a couple of tracks that sounded a little bit more somber, a little more creepy, but really, the faster pace of this one really felt like it suited the game a lot better. A huge thank you and a huge shout out to Arachnodelic, I think is how you pronounce your name, who is from www.soundimage.org, a great resource for finding some music and sound effects and a number of other assets for game design that you can use royalty-free and free of charge. Some really great stuff, and thank you for putting that resource out there. We also did some sound effects. Some of them are from an asset store pack, and some of them are literally just both my husband and I making noises in the microphone, and then me doing some work in Audacity to change them and make them sound a little bit more interesting. Like, even the sound of the explosion is just us kind of going, pew, and then me doing some stuff to make it sound a little bit more impressive than that. I added the graphic for the level up, which used to be a beach ball, and now actually looks like a level up graphic. The graphic for the spider got a complete redesign into a more stylized and less spread out design. It was a little bit hard to tell where the legs and everything were going to hit in the more spread out design, so I compacted her down and did this new design for her and also did the animation for her. The cricket and fly now have animations to their wings that happen now and then. And when you hit one and catch it, then there's a little text score that pops up afterwards. The text score pop-up does have a multiplier on it based on what your current level is, so of course the score that you're getting is dependent on your level, and the higher the level, the better the score, but the higher the level, things get weird. I customized the particle effects for catching the bugs, and also added particles for the level up pieces and the bomb explosions. I did try to do bombardier beetles that turned to follow the player, but I just really wasn't happy with how they looked. I think the game moved a bit too fast for the effect to work properly, so I ended up just doing bombs instead. Thought it was quite fun to have them literally blow a hole in the background. It was very satisfying when you hit one and there's this huge explosion, the screen shakes, the bomb explodes, there's a nice particle effect, and then there's a big hole in the background that you just see briefly as it's scrolling down, but it ended up being way too much fun to hit the bombs, so maybe it's not such a good thing that it's satisfying to hit them because you're trying to avoid hitting them. There's now a system of the number of lives that you have up in the top left corner, so you have 3 spiders and you go down by 1 when you hit a bomb, and if you go up a level, it adds 1. Did have the colors and effects progressively being added during level ups, so the first level up that you get, suddenly the spider has some color. The next one, the other bugs, the bombs, the pop-ups, and a few other things start getting color. Eventually the UI elements, the background, and even the pause menu goes from being grayscale into full color over time. Later on there's a few weirder effects that start making it relatively difficult to play the game, but that's the entire point. You decide whether or not it's worth leveling up and dealing with some of the weirder stuff that starts happening in order to get those higher scores. So I mentioned the pause menu. There's now a death animation and a death screen as well. And I did the work to make the main menu and all that. So I think that covers everything as far as what I did to complete this game. There were a few problems and bugs along the way, but I actually find it quite fun troubleshooting bugs and trying to figure out what the heck is going on. I thought this one was pretty funny. So the goal for this one was to finish on August 20th, and I did in fact finish on August 20th, but I will say that I did so barely. I uploaded it, I think, sometime past 10 o'clock on August 20th, and by which time I was way too tired to bother making a video or anything, so that took a little bit longer for me to actually get that stuff out. I felt like I had a little bit of trouble keeping the focus on this one, and I think part of that was because, as I mentioned in the last video, I started feeling like I wasn't learning new things, so it took a little while for me to go out and find those new things that I wanted to learn. What's nice is I now have a list of things that I'm looking forward to learning for upcoming games, so I'm a little bit more prepared, I think, for that all. I also think that it's going to be more important to set smaller goals with deadlines throughout the project, even if it's a short-term game like a 1-month challenge like these that I'm doing. I thought if I say, oh, I'm going to make a game in 1 month, that by itself was enough of a goal and enough of a deadline to keep me going. But as it turns out, I really needed to say, okay, by the first weekend, by this date, I'm going to have the movement system completely finished. By this time, I'm going to have the leveling system completely finished, the menus, the music, all of that kind of stuff. So I think those granular due dates are an important factor to really get myself used to doing. And in the end, I think this one ended up being kind of an experiment in what kind of effects were possible. I now know that there's a few other things that I could do, but I just haven't learned exactly how yet with shaders and stuff like that. So what's next? Well, first off, as I mentioned in the last video, I'm going to be participating and hopefully completing a game for a 1-week game jam called the Community Game Jam that is starting, as of this recording, today. I don't know the theme yet, and the whole point of a game jam is you don't find out what the theme is until the jam actually starts, because you're not really supposed to start working on anything before the jam goes into effect. So this one is going to last from today, August the 24th, up through August 31st, midday. I have no idea what kind of game I'm going to be making yet. I'll have to see what the theme is, and I should know in about an hour from the time of this recording. I'm also looking at porting Arachnodelic to Android. So I said I was going to do this for Ratatouille, and I still do intend to do so, but I'm gonna have to, on that game, revise how it's done, since a lot of stuff's happening at the bottom of the screen, and if you're working on a mobile game, that's where a lot of the UI elements would end up. But I've got the alligator going across the bottom of the screen, so I'm gonna kinda have to figure out, well, can I move things up? How am I gonna position stuff? However, Arachnodelic, I kinda had mobile in mind from the start, and it's a simpler movement system, so all it really needs is move left, move right, and a pause button. All that's left is figuring out exactly how do I put this game on a mobile device. So that's the stuff that I intend to learn next for this particular game, and it's probably not going to happen until after the game jam's done with. I don't have a solid plan for what I'm going to do after that, so I might spend that little bit of time to see if I can learn a few more things and probably work on a few more tutorials and stuff like that. And that's it. Feel free to like or comment, and if you want random updates from my little world of art and gaming, subscribe. If you enjoy what I do and are interested in supporting the channel, please check out my Patreon. A big thank you to my current patrons. That's all for now. Bye!